What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. UFC 272 was amazing last night. Let's first start off with the main fight. Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Friends turned to rivals. I think this fight was a good fight. Yes, there was a lot of, sometimes there were some stale moments, but most of the time was, Colby doing what he's wanted to do, right? Take Jorge down and really just utilize that ground and pound. And I look at this fight, and it was really similar to the Khabib-Conor McGregor fight when they matched up back in 2018. This fight was really the same thing. Yes, Jorge had some good moments here and there. I mean, we saw in the first round where Jorge did get poked in the eye. Herb Dean didn't call it, and that was really a bad scenario for Masvidal. But looking at the bigger picture, it was really Colby's fight. And what really surprised me with this fight with Colby Covington was his striking. Not just his wrestling, his striking ability. He really landed some key shots against Masvidal where he kind of stumbled him in a way. Late in that third round, in the fourth round, yes, we saw in the fourth round where Masvidal did clip Colby, and it looked like he had a 10-second window when he clipped Colby in that fourth round to where Masvidal didn't charge in. And I think he was really worried about the takedown, always in defensive mode, and it really does take away your weapons in a way. It does. But that was really Masvidal's big opportunity in this fight to capitalize on it, was when Colby kind of got dropped. He didn't get, hit the ground, but he went limp for a second, and then he got back up, was backing up a little bit, just, that 10-second window. And we saw that in the Nate Diaz-Leon Edwards fight. When Nate Diaz pieced him up late in the fifth round, and Diaz started pointing at him. When you got your opponent weak inside the UFC in a fight game, you gotta capitalize on it. It's just like an NFL team when they capitalize on a turnover, you gotta score a touchdown off that turnover. 0 points off a turnover is not good, and that's really what it was for Masvidal all night. Capitalize off the mistake that Colby did, but not really capitalizing on it, not scoring points into it. It just, for Colby, it was really his night. And I'm telling you what, right now, for Colby Covington, him, he's 17-3 right now. Coming into this, yes, I do think we will see a trilogy with him and Kamaru Usman. There's really them two at the top of the pinnacle right now in the 170 division. And we even hearing speculations that Colby could go up to 185. Who knows? He can go after Adesanya, those type of guys. I think that's a long shot. Adesanya's in a different league right now. I think he's a top 5 UFC guy right now. Adesanya, Israel Adesanya, if not top 3. If not number 1, besides obviously pound for pound Usman. But for Colby, what's next for him? I mean, this fight, dude, total strikes 218 to Masvidal's 90 total strikes. I mean, headshots 84 to 38 to Masvidal's 38 strikes. Went to the body. He didn't really go to the body as much. I thought Masvidal got to stick to that game plan, and he really didn't. I think Colby's weakness, and he knew it, was going to Colby's body, slowing him down, slowing that cardio down, hitting body shot after body shot. He went after it maybe in the first couple rounds, but really stayed away from it after the third, fourth, and fifth round. I mean, the third round was probably Jorge's worst round. Just got ground and pound all round, dude. He really did. In takedowns, Colby got 6 takedowns, okay? And he tried 15 times. 1 submission attempt, and really it was just Colby being an excellent wrestler. And I'm telling you, in the future, Colby will become champion. If Usman did not exist, like Dana White said, he would already be champion right now. I think what Colby's doing right now for the UFC and MMA world, I think it's good. And a lot of people hate Colby, say crazy things, because he does say crazy things about other people, including their families, stuff like that. But I think for the sport of growing UFC, I think Colby's great for it, dude. I think he's selling more pay-per-views, talking crap. I think he's really building his brand more right now. And what better time, right? You beat him. Now it's going on to the next. He's called out Dustin Poirier. I think that'd be a great fight. I really do. But I think Colby, he wants to get that 170. And there's speculations of different fights as well. I mean, same thing with Masvidal. Before this fight, he did sign an extension with the UFC. He will retire a UFC fighter. I mean, he's had a great career. You guys can say crazy things, but Masvidal, he changed the game. He really did. From fighting in the backyards all the way up to being one of the biggest UFC stars. Top 3 highest paid UFC stars right now. Hats off to Jorge Masvidal. Nothing to hang his hat on. No, he didn't get the job done. A lot of people, put big money on this fight. And a lot of people in Vegas, including Jersey Drake, put crazy amount of money on George Masvidal. Almost said Kamaru Usman. Put a lot of bread on George Masvidal, which I thought was kind of risky. I think, the bread and butter, like I said, that's why I picked Colby. That's why I told you guys to go Colby. You should not bet with your feelings, man. I used to do that back in my early 20s, betting with my feelings. That got me nowhere. You got to bet with your mind. And I think a lot of people this fight bet with their feelings and went Jorge Masvidal. It just didn't make sense to me. It didn't. He was not a wrestler. He's a striker. He does not want to go on the ground. Colby's great on the ground, and that's why I went. And I think Colby's a little bit more hungry fighter right now. And I think what Colby's next, we will see him back hopefully in July, and I think, at the end of the year to cap off a great year for Colby Covington, and we could see him, fighting for that belt at 170 yet again with Kamaru Usman. He even said, I want to do a 7-game series. Whoever wins four fights first wins this fight. He's up 2-1 or 2-0. Let's go. Let's get it. And we look at that fight. I mean, really, the second fight was really close. We could arguably say Colby won round 3, 4, and 5. Like, straight up. I mean, it's that close, but Colby just a dominating performance from start to finish. And like I said, Masvidal's biggest time was late in that 4th round to capitalize on hitting him. I think he hit him with a crazy right. Or it might have been a left, but I think he hit him with the left first and then a right. It really wobbled him. But, for me, Colby, the X factor definitely was the ground, but his stand-up game to prove that he can stand up against Jorge Masvidal, one of the best stand-up guys in the UFC right now. And I think for Colby, getting better on his striking is a must, and we saw that on display last night. We saw Colby really being on his P's and Q's when it comes to the standing game. Really was landing some good shots on George. He really was, on Jorge Masvidal. Dude, it was just amazing, man, but hopefully they could squash the beef. Even after the fight, they were talking crap, but I just think for Colby, man, he's the number one right now. He's the guy to go through, and I think he will become one of the biggest UFC stars, if not already right now. We could say Colby Covington's a top 5 UFC star right now, dude. He's blowing up, and people hate that, but at the end of the day, he's getting the job done. He's 17-3. Man, what a freaking fight. But I want to go to a different fight. Shout out to Bryce Mitchell, man, getting the win. I told you that was my lock pick of the week, was the Bryce Mitchell, Dos Anjos fight. Those two guys, they got the job done. The parlays hit. Everybody cashed out, unless you pick Masvidal, which a lot of people did. But Bryce Mitchell, a great wrestler, just a tenacity, ambition. And we saw him after the fight saying, you know what, I'm giving half my stack, half my purse, 45 G's, to a charity in Arkansas to help the kids out, which was great. It's great, man. He's praising Jesus Christ. I love this kid, man. I love it, man. Shout out to Bryce Mitchell. And when we heard that, Dana White came out and said, you know what, buddy, we're going to do this for you. You keep your 45 G's. Dana White's the big boss, the billionaire. He's going to cover that for you, Bryce. So I think it's great, man. I think for Bryce Mitchell being a new guy on the block right now, and he's continuing to win, dude. He really is. He's on a 6-fight winning streak. So I think for Bryce Mitchell, the future's bright for this young man. We will see him become champion one day. I think he has a heart for that. So big ups to Bryce Mitchell. What a freaking fight, man. Hey, he controlled it, dude. He really did from start to finish, and I loved it, dude. I think, what really separates Bryce Mitchell is his heart, man, his tenacity, his just will of never giving up. So, and that was on display, man, and we heard, earlier him wanting to be a rapper. It's just awesome, man. Yeah, I love this, man. But, for Bryce Mitchell, he had 182 total strikes. Okay, it's crazy. He had 4 for 4 takedowns, so he really did what he wanted to do in this fight. So shout out to Bryce Mitchell. The future's bright for that young man. And then Dos Anjos, he dominated. I thought they were going to stop that fight. Dos Anjos had 179 total strikes to the opponent's 99 total strikes. I mean, control. He had over 13 minutes of control, 5 takedowns out of 15 shoots. So, Dos Anjos, it was just a dominant performance. And we saw his opponent bloodied up. I thought they were going to stop the fight because of his eye. It was just bleeding. But they let him fight. These guys are warriors here. I mean, we see these guys fight, knock each other off. And it's like, from a fan's perspective, it's like, oh, these guys, they get hurt, whatever. But it's like, dude, if the average civilian were to get in the octagon and get just hit one time, it's lights out, dude. Some of these hits that these UFC fighters can take, it's pretty amazing, dude. And these are boxing gloves, dude. These are little ounce, UFC gloves that would really hurt no matter what, dude. Obviously, it's not bare knuckle, but it's almost close to bare knuckle. So, these fights, Dos Anjos, that was my lock. And then we saw Greg Hardy get knocked out again. Like I said, 3-fight losing streak now. I think the UFC needs to release Greg Hardy. Former NFL player, played for the Carolina Panthers and Dallas Cowboys. Look, I just think the UFC is harder than what people really think it is. And we're looking at it right now. Yes, you can be a great athlete and go into the sport, but the difference is you have to be a fighter first before an athlete. If you become an athlete, then a fighter, it's different, dude. And we're seeing Greg Hardy do this, but I'm not saying Greg Hardy's not a good fighter. I just think for the UFC's perspective, I think he belongs in a little B or C league, okay? UFC's A league. These are the big leagues here. So I think Greg Hardy, 3 knockouts in a row of losing. So I think, his time in the UFC is almost up. So, it's not surprising for me for Greg Hardy. But, back to the main, Colby Covington, George Masvidal, dude. Shout out to Jorge Masvidal. No matter what, man, I like this guy. Changed the game forever. We saw a lot of big fighters there. Usman was there live, and we saw Khabib there getting the UFC Hall of Fame. Khabib even was really giving praise to Colby Covington, and it makes sense because I think, Colby's kind of becoming that Khabib 2.0 in a way. He's going to take you down. He's going to maul you. He's going to get you really, really tired in the later rounds and do what he wants with you. And that's what Colby's been doing in his last fights. Even against Usman, yes, he took him down one time, but, the Usman fight, it's just obviously Usman's pound for pound number one, but even then, he won rounds against Usman, the pound for pound number one guy, and they don't even have Colby in the top 10 pound for pound rankings. So I think it's, a lot of people, it just rubs off the wrong way. I think, what Colby says in the media, even me, I don't like when he calls LeBron James a spineless coward. I mean, come on, dude. LeBron James, he's been in the NBA since 2003, one of the biggest superstars ever, dude. I think he just kind of a little jealousy of LeBron. I think that's where it stemmed from. I really do, but, without LeBron, okay, let's not bring LeBron into just this picture, but for Colby Covington, man, this guy can fight. He can fight. And you can say what you want, call him whatever, but at the end of the day, this young man can fight. He's really hitting his prime at the right time. And I think, it's his world right now. He's going to fight Dustin Poirier, knock him out. So many old ex-teammates, from Masvidal, dude. The list goes on for Colby Covington. So I think, it's going to be interesting. We will see Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington in the future. When will we see this fight? I hope at the end of the year, once Kamaru Usman heals up with his hand. But I think UFC 272 showed out in Vegas. I think this was great, man. I think it drew great numbers, over 6 million pay-per-view buys. I think this was great, man. So many people were into this, so many bets. But like I said, I told you guys to go my 3 picks of this weekend. It was definitely Colby Covington, Bryce Mitchell, and Dos Anjos. Those were my 3-fight parlays, and they hit. So if you guys want to put money on those 3-fight parlays, you would have cashed out. So don't bet with your heart, bet with your mind. So a lot of people bet with their heart this weekend and lost a fortune. Do not do that, baby. I'm telling you, UFC 272 was amazing. It's the Clown with Cap show. Let's go!